will open up our commissioners' workshop session. Anybody wishing to speak with the commissioners about any topic, you have 3 minutes after stating your name and address. Anybody wishing to speak for the workshop session today? Oh, sorry. The lady behind you beat you by 10 by a split second. You stood, her hand went up.
Okay. Sorry. No, you're doing it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi, I'm Uni Heineking, 8553 Rosewood Lane in Mentor. And you probably recognize me. I'm here for the dogs and the dog shelter. And I just want to thank you for being so responsive. It's been amazing to see how much you care about what the community has told you. And Jason Boyd, we're so thankful for what you're doing and the collaboration with Humane Society. It's wonderful to hear. That was one of the things I pointed out, that you need to have an expert, that you can't just yourselves, go in and try to change procedures and stuff. So it's so awesome that Humane Society is involved. One of the things and it's so great that you also provide us a weekly report. One of the things I would like to hear about is the decision-making process when it comes to euthanizing. You have talked about SAFER, and that's probably Humane Society is helping you guys understanding what that is and how to administer that test to the dogs. But I think as community members, we need to know what process. I know from a legal perspective, the dog warden is the one who's responsible for making those decisions. But that doesn't mean that he or she should solely make the decision. You need to have a process. And we as community members need to know what that is. I would like to, in the weekly report, hear how many dogs you currently have, how many dogs you intook this week, how many dogs got adopted out or transferred to another shelter or a rescue. And I think those are the main things I would like to hear for now. But the deciding to put a dog down is obviously a very difficult decision, and also many aspects needs to be taken into account. But I do want to know, what that is. So I think that's all I have for this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to say that my understanding thus far is that recommendation can come from a couple different areas. It can come from a vet, it can come from the Humane Society, or it can also obviously come from the dog warden. That is a topic we're going to be discussing. I don't know that we're addressing that right at this second, but yes, we will be trying to come up with what that solution is going to be. And I think to your comments about intakes and stuff like that, in the short term, we'll have a conversation on that. But I think that this is part of the bigger picture, where it would be nice to be able to have regular, proper communications coming out of the dog shelter,
Yes.
right? I'm not saying it's not an important topic. I just don't know that I want to have to. I don't think with commissioners' meetings needs to be giving updates on the dogs coming in and the dogs going out. But I do think that.
But I need access to it, and
Yes.
I'm just
Yeah.
communicating that.
Yeah,
if I
I'm
can
just-
read that online,
Yeah,
that's
right. If we
perfect.
put it on the dog shelter's Facebook page or something like that to disseminate that
Yeah.
information, absolutely is.
Yeah.
That is in my head. We're on the same page. That's what we're building towards.
Yeah. You mentioned dog warden. Who is it?
What's that?
Who is the dog warden?
The dog warden is Rodney Shelton.
Okay. I don't think I've been able to find that information anywhere. It's not online. It's, and
We'll take a look at the Facebook page. I apologize. We'll
it
take a
ought
look
to
at
be.
websites. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think as one individual pointed out once, when you click rules and procedures on the dog shelter's website or whatever, it goes to nothing. So
Yeah.
So we're working on it.
yeah,
We'll
we understand.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd also like that report to, as much as possible, report on the ultimate status of the dogs that are transferred out. Because if it just becomes a black hole where you transfer a dog to a different kennel or a different warden, you don't know whether they were adopted or euthanized. I think it's important for us to see the ultimate fate of the dogs. So I know that may not be possible in all cases when it's a different agency, but if we're transferring a dog out, I'd like to know what ultimately happens as part of the report.
Okay, we'll see if, yeah, I don't know that that's possible all the time, but I hear you. All right, yes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Erin Durzon, and I live at the very edge of Lake County on Stocking Road. And I have a bridge that I go over every day with a very low weight limit on it because it's a very small road that's often forgot about. And I have a neighbor who's, I don't know what he's doing because as far as I know, he doesn't have any like building permits or whatnot, but he's been having a lot of very heavy, oversized truckloads come in and out and go over that bridge because I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a dead-end road. So there's only one way in, one way out. And the repeated heavy traffic is really concerning to me because I also have livestock down there. And if they need a vet, then I need to be able to take them over the bridge. And ultimately, I would like to be able to come home at the end of the day and leave.
It's nice to be able to do those things.
It really is. I love it.
What's the road, name of the road again?
Stalking.
Okay.
South Madison.
Yes. And I've reached out to Madison Township. I've reached out to the road department and the bridge engineer. Nobody's. So the township told me to go to the engineer. The engineer, I've sent emails, I've called in, I've left voicemails. I haven't received anything back.
Okay. Well, we got your name and information. We will look into that and be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public portion of the Commissioners' Workshop? Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Britt Corsi. I'm here with Howling for Help. We're a documentary uncovering America's animal crisis. I don't live here. I used to live in Cleveland, but I've since moved to Colorado, where I enjoy myself much better. And I just so happened to be passing through Cleveland this week and was invited to come film here in your community. And they shared what's been going on here in the community. I watched some of your guys' meetings the past few weeks. And I've really enjoyed that you guys have welcomed a lot of the animal welfare community and communicate with them and not kind of reject them like California does. But a lot of the things that I listened to were kind of like basic, systematic, and process that most shelters across the United States have. And I've been on the road for about 8 months now. I'm tired and I can't wait to go back. But I've been on the road visiting shelters, rescues, advocates all across America, from California to New York, back up the north. I can say that there was probably a lot of emotion that came from your first few meetings with a lot of the advocates, but a lot of the things ultimately that they said to you are very basic things that are instituted all across the U.S. in shelters. I think it could probably move a lot quicker if you rely on those people to be the experts to come in and tell you what exactly should be done. I know it's hard if you're not specifically in this world to know, and that's why we're building the documentary, to create education and awareness for the people who aren't in the animal space, right? And I'm also happy to contribute to that because of all of the different systems and shelters that I've walked into and sheriffs that have walked me through their facilities. I can't show publicly any of the footage that I have, but I am happy to have any session with you guys to help you see what is going on in other places. But I also think you have a great opportunity to see that even in Cleveland APL or any of the other shelters. They can say the exact same thing that these fine people are. Today I'll be filming with some of the rescues who I think you're partner with now. But one of the concerns that I had was someone mentioned that you can't even walk into Lake County Shelter and see any of the animals. So there's no way for your community to actually highlight them and to network them. And that's the biggest thing that moves an animal. And that's what everybody across the United States is doing right now, because the alternate option is essentially euthanasia. And so if you're not allowing people to get in there and see the animals, and for your community to go take a video, post it online, or for anybody just to go check to see if they want a dog, it's very restrictive. And I'm not sure why, but that's you guys, not me. So I'm happy to leave my contact with you. I didn't put it on the sign-in sheet, but I'm
Please
happy
do.
to give it to you, and you guys can feel free to reach out with any help you might need.
Yeah, if you could give Jason your information. And as I understand it, folks can come in, it's by appointment. So we have to make sure that we have somebody staffed there properly to have somebody come in. So it's not that it's closed off, you can't come in and look
Yeah.
at the dogs. We just ask that you make an appointment. That is one of the topics that we are looking into, is figuring out what that model looks like so that if somebody shows up on a Thursday morning at 11 and they want to walk into the dog shelter. And different dog shelters locally have different hours, right? So, you know, there's the conversation of weekend hours and this and that. Well, that requires the appropriate staffing levels and or creative staffing patterns, if you will, to be able to do so. So, but yes, I appreciate the input that it's kind of hard to adopt a dog if you can't live with a dog. So, anybody else? Yes.
Yeah, just a quick thing. My name is Jackie Khalil, and I am a Cuyahoga County resident, but I've been here. I just wanted to know how the volunteer process was coming and just to offer my help. I'd love to help with the online presence. I'd love to help in person with the animals. If I can help in any way build the program, please reach out to me.
I appreciate it.
I'll be
Thank you.
around.
Once again, I think the volunteer component is going to be coming down the road. One of our first priorities.
With the welfare.
The first priority was the air conditioning, the temperature in the building, and then we moved on to the welfare. We've started to look at some of the dogs, making sure the dogs that are in the shelter have
Which
seen
is
a
most
vet.
important,
We're making
yes.
sure they're heartworm tested. We're making sure that, you know, those type of things, the actual care of the dogs is first and foremost. And then we also are going to look into topics such as that, you know,
Great.
the hours of the organization. And I think that's when we'll start to have a conversation with the volunteer organization as to how that works. So, but thank you for...
I want to say thank you to everybody. You guys have been really receptive, and that means a lot to us, so thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Going once, going twice. All right, we appreciate everybody being here for our workshop